Hello, and welcome to my presentation on problem-based learning with Thomas Sedlak. So first, let's start with imagining the possibilities. Problem-based learning projects focus on teaching children by connecting to and stimulating their interests, instead of dully reading out a textbook or doling out key points. So, you want to do more than just teach facts. The whole point of the project should be to help students develop important skills, attitudes, and habits of mind, as well as a deeper understanding of the material and why it is important. So, what kinds of focuses and topics should you look at? When you make your PBL, first look at your Common Core standards for the subject. Be sure that your project will teach students about the standards you select as focuses, and that the topic you pick is relevant to your focuses. Make sure to connect your projects to real life. They're rarely simple and often connect to several different topics and disciplines. By relating your project to a real-life problem, though, you'll deepen a student's interest, which lets them take away more from the project. If you need help, don't be afraid of exploring new territory with your projects. Collaborate and share your ideas with fellow teachers in your school, your district, your country, even internationally. There's nothing to gain keeping a project to yourself, and everything to lose by missing out on the help and ideas of your peers. So now on to strategies for discovery. You want your project to pull students away from traditional thinking. By setting up situations and problems that demand the students solve problems themselves, you'll force them to ask questions. Questions will keep the students thinking, and answering them themselves will keep them invested and learning. The best projects have the following qualities: a loose design so that you're not stifling them, implicit meaning so that the goals are clear, a driving, motivating question, just one, don't want too many, capturing student interest, reiterate that, realistic goals, don't try to have your students build a rocket ship, and connecting outside of school. Try and connect to your communities and local people. That will make things seem much more real and much more motivating. For inspiration, you can try and connect your project to real life via news stories, contemporary issues, student questions, collaboration with peers, all sorts of ways. And now, how do you assess these? Assessing a problem-based learning project can be quite difficult. First, though, we have to ask what the purpose of the assessment is. There are two main goals for any assessment. First, to measure student learning, and second, to evaluate the quality of the project. If you find that a project isn't particularly helpful for your students, you may want to modify it or start over. To measure your students, there are three key steps that are similar to traditional projects. Objectives, set up clearly and concisely what students will learn. Evidence, how will your students demonstrate that they have learned anything? And activities, what will they do as they teach themselves? How will the project change over time? And now to evaluate the project itself, and also final grades. Rubrics are an incredibly useful tool, allowing you to evaluate many different aspects of the project and of the student's performance equally and fairly. A performance task to have students show what they've learned can also work well. A traditional test is a possibility, but I would recommend avoiding it. And if all else fails, you can ask a teacher or subject matter expert to help you independently evaluate your class. Now, what is my PBL? My basic idea for a PBL is to teach students basic statistics while also teaching them about elections. I would challenge students to decide who they thought would be likely to win a local election and justify it, while pointing them towards available polling data. I would also use this as a chance to teach the students, most likely middle school students, about probabilities and how polling data can be incorrect sometimes. Thank you very much for sitting through my presentation.